Hello everyone and welcome to Grinds Online Ireland. I'm Tara and today we're going to be learning how to divide two complex numbers. So if z is equal to 5 minus 2i and w is equal to 3 plus 9i, we have to find z over w, or z divided by w. So let's first substitute in the complex numbers. And if we do that, we're going to get 5 minus 2i all divided by 3 plus 9i. Now guys, the trick with dividing two complex numbers is to multiply it by 1. And hear me out for a minute, but let's just kind of have a little thought bubble here. What's 2 divided by 2? 1. What's 10 divided by 10? 1. In fact, anything divided by itself is equal to 1. So we could make 1 in this case by dividing 3 over 3. Or I can make 1 in another case maybe by dividing I over I. And that is exactly what we're about to do in this question. So we're going to make 1 by multiplying by using the complex conjugate of the denominator here, 3 plus 9i. Now guys, if you can recall, the complex conjugate is just the exact same number, but with the imaginary component flipped sign. So in this case, the complex conjugate of the denominator, 3 plus 9i, that's going to become 3 minus 9i. So if we change that 1 now to 3 minus 9i over 3 minus 9i, what we're going to get is 5 minus 2i all over 3 plus 9i multiplied then by 3 minus 9i over 3 minus 9i. And this part again, guys, is just the equivalent to 1 because anything divided by itself is going to be equal to 1. Okay, so now we have two fractions being multiplied by each other, and we know whenever we have two fractions multiplying each other, it's the top by the top and the bottom by the bottom. So if we do that in this case, we're going to get 5 minus 2i, all that multiplied by 3 minus 9i, and all that's going to be divided by 3 plus 9i multiplied by 3 minus 9i. Okay, so now we're multiplying two complex numbers together. So let's multiply the top first. So if we do that, we're going to get 5 by 3, which is 15. 5 times minus 9 is going to be minus 45i. Minus 2i multiplied by 3, that's going to give me minus 6i. And then finally, minus 2i multiplied by minus 9, that's going to give me plus 18i squared. Okay, so now that we've multiplied the top out, let's look at the bottom. So the bottom is going to be 3 multiplied by 3, that will give me 9. 3 multiplied by minus 9i, that's going to be minus 27i. And then 9i multiplied by 3, plus 27i. And then 9i multiplied by minus 9i, this is where we have to be careful, is going to give us minus 81i squared. Okay, so now we have a horrible fraction, so why don't we try and simplify it down a bit? We can first do that by noticing in the denominator, the minus 27i and the plus 27i cancel each other out. And guys, if you remember a really important rule in complex numbers, that is I squared is equal to minus 1. So wherever we see an I squared now, we can substitute in minus 1. And if we do that, we're going to get 50 minus 45i minus 6i, and then it'll be plus 18 multiplied by minus 1. That's going to give me minus 18. And all that is going to be over just 9. Minus 81 times minus 1 will be plus 81. Okay, so if we add all the reals on top now and all the imaginaries on top together, we're going to get 15 minus 18 is going to give me minus 3. And minus 45 minus 6 is going to give me minus 51i, and that's all going to be over 9 plus 81, which is 90. And we can split that up then into the real part and the imaginary part and just say this is equal to minus 3 over 90 minus 51 over 90i. So looking at this then, we can see that if we divide these two complex numbers together, we're going to get another complex number, and it's going to be equal to minus 3 over 90 minus 51 over 90i. So we can conclude then that z divided by w is going to be a horrible complex number, but is a complex number nonetheless. Minus 3 over 90 minus 51 over 90i.